Good morning. Welcome to episode 3 of the five-part series in Finding Your Writing Joy. This video is all about how to escape writing perfectionism by following your curiosity. Right? So as a writer, you're probably curious about things. You want to find out about things. You want to research things. Or you want to think about things. And writing down your ideas and exploring new topics and character arcs and ideas and things like that, they can help you be more creative. So, if you're feeling stuck in your writing because nothing sounds good enough, you're not alone. And you're not broken either. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just chasing perfection when you should be chasing something way more powerful, your own curiosity. So, if you want to find your curiosity, you need to identify the problem. So, when we sit down to write, a lot of authors, myself included sometimes, we sit down and you try to get it right. Right? Because the more correct you get your first draft, the less you have to do to it later. So there's a real incentive to nail the first draft. Because if you get that one right, you don't have to do as much work later. But that mindset can also slow you down. It can cause you to edit every sentence before you've even finished your thought. It can cause you to stop mid-draft because what you're doing isn't working. It's too slow. You have more ideas than this, but you're stuck. Your mind is way out ahead of you, and you're stuck right here, and that sucks. And here's the thing. If you get really caught up in it, you'll judge every word before you ever put it on the page. So you'll just sit there with, well, the worst case scenario is you sit there with a blank page. Oops. That's a newbie thing to do. And here's the thing. I say that as a joke, but that can happen to any of us at any time, whether you've written one book or 100 books. So then, once you've identified your problem, what do you do now? Well, you have a mindset shift. You have to shift your mind. You have to think about something different. What about if instead of trying to be brilliant, instead of trying to be perfect, instead of trying to be the next great American or Canadian or English or Australian author, or wherever you're from, if I missed your country, I'm sorry. What if you just followed your curiosity? What if you just wrote about something that fascinates you? What if you just wrote about something that makes you wonder, hey, I just saw a news article about blah, blah, blah. What would happen if? Let's write it down, right? That's what we want to do. And that's what curiosity is. That's the fuel behind joyful writing. Curiosity doesn't care if it's perfect. It just wants to know what happens if. And then once you do if, you're going to be what happens next. And once you get to what happens next, you're on your way. You have launched like a rocket. At least that's been my experience. So I suppose at this point, you might want some quick tips. Okay, quick tips it is. 3 ways to follow your curiosity. Ask weird questions. Like, what if my main character doesn't remember committing a crime? They definitely committed. What happened there? Did they get selective amnesia? Is it that stress amnesia thing? Were they drugged? Were they drugged by some criminal organization? Or did an accident happen right after they did their big heist or crime or whatever it was? Like they did the thing, and all of a sudden they run across the street and a car smacks them. And then they have amnesia. Interesting idea, don't you think? So then, once you've got your crazy, weird question and a thought about it, free write with zero editing. Set a timer and let your words just go on the page. No backspacing, no judgment, just run with it. You know why you just want to run with it? Because you could edit it tomorrow, or next week, or next month, or when you finish the story. You don't have to edit as you go. You know, and then once you get that done, maybe try something else. But always remember to give yourself open-ended prompts so that you can be like, what happens if? Here's the deal. You don't need anyone's permission to fill your mind with wonder, with curiosity, with freedom to write. You don't need anyone's permission to do that. And you don't have to follow the rules. And you don't have to worry about anything. All you have to do is put the pen to paper. Put the pen to paper. There you go. That's all you need. And that's the other thing. If you're having trouble writing on the computer, it's okay to go get a notebook and a pen. Lots of authors like to do their first drafts like that. They do their first drafts on paper. And actually, it serves two purposes. When you write your story on paper, it forces you to have to put it in the computer. So the process of getting your paper stuff into the computer makes you edit it twice. You'll edit it as you read it in your mind, and then you'll edit it again as you type it. It actually is more productive than you might think. So anyway, and remember, you don't need to write well. You don't even need to write good. You just need to write according to what you want to write. You know, and as you write, ask yourself, you know, after you've done what happens if, now write what happens next. What happens next? That'll keep you going. And as you write what's next, you'll come up with more ifs. Well, what happens if my character does this? Well, who says you can't find out? Find out. And then you're like, well, what happens if they chose the other way? Well, write it down, find out. And then read them both. Which one do you like better? One you like better goes in the story. So anyway, folks, that's it. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be curious and interested in what you're writing. So that is day 3 on finding your writing joy. Have a great day, folks, and I'll bring another interesting video to you later.